What's happening, con folks out there? Broadcasting live to you and yours. Once again, it's your boy. Yes, Matt, it's your boy. Too tall for you, fool.
Hey, we're the boys. You're one of the
Yeah,
boys. You're a
yeah,
boy.
yeah.
Done.
Yes. Don't. Yeah, I heard that latest episode of the Dead Drop. Um, yes, I am back with my boys. Yes, back with my boys once again. First we have the interpreter of the games industry, the prophet of playable material, and your professor of time preservation, the host of the Dead Drop podcast, Matthew Bliss.
Hello. How we all doing?
What's up,
And
bro?
of course, my main man, the F man, OVG, RView Gaming, whatever you want to call him. He's my best friend.
Oh
Finest
wow.
abs.
Oh wow, man. They got the tears flowing now. Okay. Hey, bud. How's it going? Matt, I mean, you're in this too. I mean,
Yeah, I feel like I'm third wheeling here.
yeah,
I mean,
I don't, we can bring someone else in. Who's out there? Who's watching right now?
Who's
hey, it's
watching? Who's
fine.
listening?
Shoot me a
I'll
chat.
go find my own boy to hang out with and share love with.
Was
It's
it?
fine.
Do you guys
Don't
watch The
even.
Boys?
uh,
On Amazon?
not necessarily.
Yeah,
No.
has season 3
Yeah.
started yet? Or is that coming soon?
I don't think yet. I think it's gonna start like next week. I think I'm looking forward to it. Good. It's a fun little romp. If you like superpowers and weird sex with goats and blowing off
Excessive
each other's
amounts of
heads.
gore. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It actually, just to be cautious to our viewers that may be of a certain age, it gets pretty rough at some
Yeah,
points.
yeah.
In fact, in the first 10 minutes of the first episode, I think it really hits that point very quickly
Yeah, they let
with
you
being
know very
apt.
much what the show's about, very, very much from the beginning. But yeah,
Yeah,
still enjoy. I laugh out loud when watching that show. So
yeah,
All right.
it's very good for that.
All right, guys, everybody, everyone out there, thank you for watching. Our viewers, listeners, thank you for listening. We're available on any platform that you are watching us or listening to us on. Whatever platform you're on, though, we'd appreciate if you'd click that like button, subscribe. Definitely come back if you like what you're hearing or watching. So that being said, we also do have a Patreon. Links to our Patreon will be in the show notes if you want to donate. And you can also email us, gameandwatchpodcast@gmail.com. We will read your emails over air. For those of you that are watching, we'll do a Q&A with any chat, anything questions you have regarding the show at the end of the show if we have anyone that comes in the chat tonight. And with that being said, I believe that is it. Uh, oh yeah, and
That's
then
all
any
from the game. Oh, okay, we're still going. Okay,
no,
sorry.
no. Oh yeah, and then one other thing. If you want to follow us on any of our social media platforms, all the links to all that, along with our show notes for all the articles used in today's episode, will be there. So definitely just check us out personally or as a whole. With that being said, before we get started on today's icebreaker, just want to say condolences to any families out there who've lost anyone over the past few weeks through these senseless acts of violence in our country. Our country being the United States, just devastates me every time turning on the news, hearing about one of these things. It's just very sad. So I just wanted to get out that off my chest here this evening. Condolences are with you, from everyone here at the Game and Watch podcast.
And
All
from,
right.
you know, everyone around the world as well. Like I've seen the coverage of the Texas shooting, the what we're talking about, and like even coming from a country that has gun control laws that most Americans I think probably want, we still feel the pain that you guys are feeling. So yeah,
Yeah.
looking out for you guys.
Thank you. It means a lot. All right. With that out of the way, how's y'all's week's been? What are you playing? Anyone want to go first?
yeah,
No.
I'll take. Oh, okay. Yeah.
No, you go. Go for it, man.
Yeah, no. So I've been playing Ollie Ollie World. I've been back on that grind. But But yeah,
Yeah,
Nope. Nope.
no,
I'm excited
no.
because you're playing something other than Horizon Forbidden West.
You know what? Now I kind of miss it.
No.
I do. I really do.
Put
I'm
that
just
game in a
like
shelf, man.
I haven't popped it back in the PS4, but I think about all the things that I did not do, and that's like the hardest part about it. It's like I know there's so much left behind. Like there's like the battle arena, like where you get to like fight all the different monsters at different levels. Like I remember I did that probably around like level 30. I ended the game at level 42, and at level 30, like I got owned like pretty quickly. I got through like maybe like 3 rounds, and you had to fight multiple robot dinosaurs each round, and it got just progressively harder. And yeah, so I think about that and just so many other parts of that game that I just didn't get to. But um,
Just let the
yeah,
cooldown timer run down.
I am.
Give you some time.
I've been trying to
You'll be
pick
all
up Elden Ring, and I thought the game would have gone on some type of sale, but
right. No.
What?
No way.
it's yeah, it is not. Well, that's the thing. So I've been able to find like digital codes for like relatively cheap.
But you want
Um,
physical?
yeah, but I want physical, and so I haven't been able to find that. And then the couple times that I did find it, I found it for like other regions. So I found it like a digital
Ooh.
code for like Argentina, and I was like, oh yeah. And then it was like $33, and I was getting ready to like go through the process of picking it up, and I was like, oh wait, this is for Argentina.
See,
I was like, yeah.
that's the only time I've seen a price drop on Elden Ring so far. It's when
Yeah.
the Australian exchange rate on Humble Bundle improves. So the value we get for our dollar means that we're getting better value off buying Elden Ring. Like I think I bought it at 84 Australian and it dropped to 71 Australian within like a week and a half or 2 weeks.
God damn, you guys ain't
So
kidding around when you say your games were expensive.
yeah, expensive, like, but relative to America, like it
Yeah.
would be the same equivalent cost. But the fact that your prices stay the same, and the uh, the I'm losing my words now, the exchange rate drops so significantly, and our dollar improves enough that the value gets better on those games. That's the only time it's going to drop. I'd say you probably have to wait like another 3 months, maybe.
I mean, for me, like I thought it would have gone down just because like the user base is like seemed like it's like the player base is like it seems like it dropped off quite a bit. So
Mm.
with not as many people like playing it, and just thinking about like all the people that essentially
Have
like
played it or
the
played
games,
it.
yeah, well, yeah, it sold 13 million units at the time of like a couple weeks back. So I was just
Yep.
like, oh yeah, they're like kind of due for a sale, but no, not yet.
No.
So
Marketing
Yeah.
doesn't follow logic.
yeah.
That's what I've
Yeah.
discovered.
Yeah.
But yeah, looking to pick it up for my Xbox Series X. So anyone out there, if you're done playing the game and you have a Series X, go ahead and send Elden Ring my way.
Don't blow people. No, I'm just kidding.
Time to get a PO box for the Game and Watch podcast. I think.
We can do a swap. I'll give you one of my games, and
Yeah.
I'll take one of yours. Yeah.
One
But
for
how
one.
is Ollie Ollie World going back to it? Has it changed?
No, there's been no significant updates that I can tell. Um, I I I've definitely lost my flow. I had to go back to the earlier levels, to really just get that like that hand twitch rate back up to what it was like when I was playing consistently before I jumped into Horizon Zero Dawn. But yeah, it's a good time. I mean, the characters and the art style and just the flavor of the game, so to speak, is just it's so nice. Yeah,
Nice and chill.
yeah, nice and chill, and yeah, there's no really hangups. I'm so happy that they added checkpoints in that game
Oh yeah.
because it just makes such a world of difference, and you don't feel like you lost a lot of progress, just going like constantly resetting, because you can reset each level, or not, like, yeah, you can reset the level with the press of a button, or reset a checkpoint at the press of a button. So like you mess up on the smallest thing, you just press that. So I'll like hit that maybe right now, since I'm not playing the greatest. I'll probably hit that like 30 times in a playthrough. Just replay the level, but it's not a lot of time pass. It may be like, a whole like a level, like if you play it flawlessly, may take, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, something like that if you play it flawlessly. And so like hitting it 30 times, I may be on a level like maybe 10, 15 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a great game.
You're not getting that reset fatigue, because I've played Trials HD
Hmm.
and Trials Evolution, which has a mechanic like that. It has much more rigid checkpoints, but you can so easily get stuck in a loop where you like try that one thing, nope, didn't do it first, reset it, try it again, reset it, try it again, reset it. All of a sudden
Or
you got like an hour deep. It is
no,
definitely just
because
15 minutes for you.
yeah, no, because the thing is, like, you can mess up and like beat the level. Like you can go through the level and like beat the level. It's just like if you want to do like the all those extras, like getting high score,
That's the stuff
getting
that gets you, the
yeah, like
perfectionist.
hitting the balloons, like hitting all the balloons in the
Yeah.
level, or like there's like ones where it's like grime the entire level, so you like don't touch the floor, and it's like all the extra stuff that causes you to reset. But you can beat the level. Like I like if I wanted to beat the game like already, like I could have beat the game. But yeah, it's very much like you said, that perfectionist like thing where you're just like, okay, I already know I can beat the level, but like I want to do everything on the level so I can get that hat. So I can get a T-shirt, so I can get a new deck of so I can get a new pair of pants, and it's all cosmetic. And that's like kind of the good part and bad part about it. If I see something I really don't want or don't like, I'm like, oh, I have a boy character right now, so I don't need to get that skirt. Even though sometimes like I may throw a skirt on them because like there's no stop gates in terms of like gender and what you can dress your character in. But yeah, just a really fun game. So Ollie Ollie World, go play it.
Ollie
That's
Ollie
my
World,
you
play
guys
play
get
it.
Nice.
All
two
right,
thumbs up. I don't have any
sounds good.
ratings.
It's not a
Sounds
skating
good.
pun, so that's okay.
Yeah.
2 thumbs up is fine.
How about you guys?
Matt, you want to go?
Sure. On the
What you
subject of
been
chill,
playing?
I've been diving through Power Wash Simulator a little bit because I've been a bit busy the last couple of weeks. We had a guest stay over from Ireland for a bit,
Fun.
so I've been relocated. Yeah, it was really good to have them around. It just meant that I didn't have as much access to my computer as I would normally. So opted for some chill out time. Jumped into Power Wash Simulator for a bit, and they added three new special levels where you do a gnome fountain. What else is it? A train. There was another one too. Can't quite recall, but I know they took like 4 to 5 hours each. So that was a lot of
Okay.
chill time, a lot of power washing. But a couple of nights ago, I picked up an old game. I think it came out 2013. Her Story,
Her story.
which came out to much acclaim. It's won a lot of awards. The basic premises of it is that you're in front of a very old computer, like CRT monitor days, and you're given a bunch of police recorded footage of interviews of a woman, and you need to find out why you've got this footage. But essentially, it's a deduction, solve the crime kind of thing.
I
But the
think
mechanic of
I
the
think I've heard
game,
of it. I think I know what
yeah,
you're talking about.
you definitely would have. If I
Yeah.
flashed the game front cover at you, you'd probably recognize it. Oh,
Ah,
getting some sound there too. It has a
yeah,
great soundtrack, by the
yeah,
way.
yeah.
The music you heard there is just a taste. The way that they use music and really mild gaming transitions to progress the story and give you those feels that you get when you get little bits of the story. It's really great. But the whole mechanic is that you don't have access to all the footage. You need to search the footage to be able to find the videos that you think you need. They're all transcripted, so what you search for is words that are said in the interview. And so you
Wow.
search for a couple of words, you find little bits of footage, you find out more words you could search, more relevant facts about the case. And as you discover more and more of these videos become available to you, to the point where there are some videos that progress the story a little bit and other things happen on that simulated computer space than you'd normally expect. And the story was very compelling, but the game mechanic drew me in like I didn't think it would. You know, if you can imagine, if you've been a worker at any point doing data entry, you wouldn't think that entering words to search for videos and watching them is as compelling as I'm making it sound. But it is. And it's on Game Pass at the moment. So if
Yeah,
anyone's
I see
looking
that
to
as one
give
of
it a go.
Yeah, I did see that as one of the Game Pass entries because I was like, her story
Mm.
looks familiar. Then I'm looking at the footage, just like that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
pretty
really
pretty
interesting
interesting.
thing as well, because I did a bit of post reading after I finished the game. What the director did to get the footage looking like that is not, in game filters or anything. The footage was run through two VCRs after being recorded, so that it could get the degradation and the that old video cassette look to it, which was really
Of the mid
interesting.
'90s.
Yeah, like you'd recorded something off the TV, so it
Yeah.
looks exactly like that. It was really interesting. The other
Yeah, that's
part,
pretty awesome. Yeah.
other part is that he made another game, the director, called Telling Lies, which does not follow on from that story. Has a very similar premise though, but with four people instead. And I'm looking to target that one next. And if
Okay.
you watched the movie Upgrade, the main actor from that is in that particular game. And he's a really good actor, so I want to check him out. But yeah, Power Wash Simulator and Her Story. That's what I've been tackling this week.
So before I explain what I've been playing, have you played LA Noir, Matt?
I have not, but I understand what it is,
Yeah. I think you would like
the
that game.
hilarity, the memes.
Yeah.
I'm over all of it. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. I think you'd really like that game if you gave it a try. It's a bit well, it's been remastered, so
That's one of
just
those games that gets ruined because people talk
yeah.
about how weird it is too much. Like press X to distrust, and then you see the face that's
Yeah, it's a little bit of
like
like
there's this,
reading people, so it's like because
yeah, but
like the
there's
first time I played it, I was like, this is awesome. The second time when I played it remastered, I was like, I'm okay.
I think it's a game that existed and was innovative for its time, but we've come too far graphically, even though they remastered it, to
Yeah,
be enthralled by the idea that you can have four different reactions from each character, but they just have to be over exaggerated, like
yeah.
questioning.
And then just in the GPS system in that game sucks. I understand it was the 1940s, but
They didn't have GPSs back then. I
yeah.
guess they can
So
get away with whatever they want.
yeah, it was pretty bad. Well, I mean, for me, just transitioned to a new work schedule, so really just hadn't had a whole lot of time to play a whole lot this week. Only had really one day off this week, but I jumped back into Wild Guns Reloaded. Fun game, just a fun shooter game. Just sometimes come home from work after hop out of the shower, just do that. And they have a beginner mode in it too, so I can die as many times as I want. It's just like, do I really feel like finishing this game? Yeah, no, maybe not, or maybe just do like a level or something. Sometimes like if I get home late, I just want to play something, before I turn in for the night or whatever. So, played a little bit of that, and then I also dipped into Super Mario Maker 2. I was watching a YouTube video of one of the creators. He recreated Super Mario World. So I was trying to go through like some of what he did just to see like what it was like. And so far he reinvented some of those levels pretty good. Like he combined a few levels and I thought that was like pretty awesome. Like there's
Is
so
there
many
still
so much
is there still a strong Mario Maker 2 community? Because I know that they felt a bit duped when they made the
I
upgrade.
think I think so. I mean, I think there's still like a lot of levels you can play on there. I know
Hmm.
Ted is a big player of that game. He likes to do like those speed runs through some of those levels. But I mean, me, I'm more of a casual guy when it comes to it. But if you have like an awesome level, I'll definitely check it out. It's should definitely be on every Switch user's collection, in my opinion. It's such a great game. So I was playing a little bit of that this morning actually, and I also picked up Ninja Saviors: Return of the Warriors. Uh, I don't know. I think I just got the retro itch right now. So
It's a good time for it. Not much
yeah,
AAA coming just
not
yet,
not not
but
right now. But let's get into what you can save on, and it's that time of year. I think it came a little early this year. Days of Play sale has started, and I know there's a lot on sale, a lot to buy. So let's see if you with the controllers are about $75, so you can save about $15 on there. And they have a whole list of games that are on sale. And anything, Finest, you're a big PlayStation guy. Anything here that you'd want to look to pick up?
Let's see. So yeah, there probably is. I really haven't checked out the sale yet. So I mean, I do need a new PlayStation 4 controller, but I mean, there's none. There's not. They're not on sale from what I can tell. Other than that, I mean, yeah, there's I don't know. There's quite a few games here, but for
There's
honestly,
tons.
probably yeah. I know, but I have like my most important games. Like, is there anything that I like have to pick up from this list? No, because I either have it on PlayStation Plus, like I have a ton of these games from PlayStation Plus already, or I've bought them outright already, or I just don't really I really don't care. But like I have Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I have Assassin's Creed Valhalla, I have Batman Arkham Knight, I have uh, several Call of Duties. I don't even know which. I have Black Ops Cold War. I have Cyberpunk 2077. I have Diablo 2 Resurrected. Final Fantasy 7 I just have so many of these games. Like any of the big games that I would be interested in, I already have, or I have it available to me because I picked it up on a PlayStation Plus. So does this sale really speak to me? No, not really. It's not made for me.
Let me test you. Let me give you a little
Yeah.
test. Little testy
What's going
test.
on?
Tiny Tina's Wonderlands Next Level Edition.
Ooh,
I don't have Tiny Tina's yet.
he got you there.
Okay.
Outer Wilds.
I do have Outer Wilds.
Okay, very good. Put that on your list to play because that's an excellent one. Make sure you do not have Need for Speed Heat because that is terrible.
It was okay, man. Come on, man. It was all right.
Any Need for Speed game after Criterion picked them up, forget about it.
You're such a hater, Matt. Come on, man. We
Yeah,
gotta
I'm
do
a
it. We gotta do a
purist.
we gotta do
Razor.
a roundtable on Need
Black-
for Speed, man.
Blacklist. The Blacklist. I'm a Blacklist purist. I'm sorry. That is the only most wanted that I will accept.
All right, so I have a list here right now through Target. I'm just gonna go through some of these prices real quick. Controller $59.99. That's $15 off. The Sony Pulse 3D gaming headset $89.99. $10 off. The Last of Us Part 2 $20. Ratchet and Clank for the PS5 $40. Spider-Man you can get for $20. Sackboy $30. God of War $10. Gran Turismo Sport $10. And there was also another one. Little Big Planet 3. I don't got that one. $10. A lot of
God of War
$10
for
stuff.
$10. That's aim for the $10 stuff, especially God of War if you haven't played that yet. Definitely pick that up. But A Plague Tale is on this list too. I know from way back when I played that game and talked about it, you said you would pick it up. So maybe that would be worth a pick up too. And I'm sure that'd be $10, if not less.
Finance, I know you're gonna buy something off this list,
Yeah, we're giving you reasons to spend money, which nobody needs.
even if
But-
it's $10. Little Big Planet, Little Big.
Something there. Just do what I do. Just
Yeah.
scroll every night. Just kick up the page. Do a scroll. See what's in there. And next night, just pick it up. Quick 5-minute scroll. You're guaranteed to find something that you want.
Yeah, there's always something I could get. But the things that I like, I'm not like too tall. I just gonna buy games and then just like have them shelved for months and months at a time. I like picking up
Absolutely.
my game and playing. And if I'm not gonna play it like immediately, then I don't want to pick it up. And then yeah,
That's why you got to cruise the deals. Because
Yeah.
there'll be a cost benefit there. And you'll be like, I will definitely play this in 3 months. But if it's $50 off, what's the math there? And how does that factor into my favor? And because I'm no longer playing Horizon Forbidden West, my life is back to me now, so I can play other things.
and
Anyway.
I'm trying to lose my life again in Elden Ring. But yeah, I totally understand what you guys are saying.
Which
Yeah, so
is a sentence rarely said, I must say. Anyway, sorry, Tutel. Go on.
no. So the I keep forgetting Days of Play sale. I'm trying not to say the other thing, State of Play. I get those two things confused. But yeah, the Days of Play sale is going on through June 8th. So act now while some of these are can't misses. $10 games. Even if you're just on a shelf, it's like, hey, eventually I'll play it. I mean, that's the way I look at it. So all right. Sony, I guess when they did their updates for the PS3 and Vita, people cannot transfer PS3 games to a Vita anymore. I don't see why anyone would, but that was one of the features that was taken out. Um, Sony noted this change only affects PS3 games transferred to a Vita. It does not alter the ability to transfer content like games and save data to and from a PC. For that, a Vita owner could get Content Manager Assistant and connect a Windows or Mac PC to manage the content. So, if you got that update and if you guys like to do that, just keep in mind you can't go back and forth between PS3, transferring Vita data to a PS3. So,
Isn't
Kind
it
of
um,
love
the other way
some
around?
Vita news.
what's up?
Sorry, Finest, you go ahead.
Oh no, I'm just shocked about how much Vita news we've gotten over the last like couple months.
Oh,
Um, it's just been, I don't know, I just find it interesting. Considering like games aren't made for this console anymore. PlayStation doesn't want to acknowledge or support the console anymore. And I guess that's what all the news has been about is yeah, PlayStation kind of just abandoning their experimental handheld. But well, I'm sorry, Matt. What were you gonna say?
I can't remember anymore. But
Okay.
all I know is that the Vita revival started with The Last of Us 2, I think, when they had the one of the evil characters playing Hotline Miami with headphones in that game. It was pretty cool. But for this story particularly, I was just going to throw this into the camp of things that we discussed a couple of weeks ago, where they're removing the ability to make payments natively through the system, and you
yeah,
have to have two-factor authentication on it now.
yeah, 2FA.
But the source of the article that we're looking at here in Reset Era said that there are some games that you must transfer from PS3 to Vita in order to
Oh,
play them. And those were Burnout Legends, Metal Gear Solid, and Silent Hill. Now, I'm not going to pretend I understand why you would need to do that, but the fact that there is content there that cannot be played on Vita anymore because you can't do that PS3 transfer, it's a bit of a shot in the bollocks, you know? It's not the best thing.
Agree.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of crazy. Like you buy it for the PS3, but you can only play it on Vita now.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Time to get a
just
Steam
well,
Deck.
yeah.
And
I
the
think
Steam
I
Deck
think
is
I'm in
doing
line.
crazy things now. You should see that this is not
Yeah,
the platform to talk about it, but they're starting to create remote play stuff where they're getting the PS5 screen mirrored to the Steam Deck and having the controls mirrored to the TV, and the latency is ridiculously low. So
that's crazy.
maybe Steam Deck is the new Vita.
Perhaps. I mean,
It's not, but you know.
well, I mean, just I guess you just
People
have to
playing
have the game.
emulation on it. Yeah.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
I mean, I think eventually I'll get a Steam Deck. I just gotta find some time to play it, really. But all right. More Sony news. This show is actually kind of Sony heavy today.
That's why I wore my jacket.
Last week, Xbox was saying, sorry, we got nothing. So Sony is just,
Yeah.
they're flooding the market with everything. I
Yeah.
think
So
they're really trying to capitalize.
yeah, another Sony story. I guess they have opted to go with the PAL versions of the PS1 games for their new PlayStation Plus service, and um, yeah. With that being said, it's just why are they going with the PAL versions? They did this for the PS1 Classic already for some of the games, not all of them. But if you hacked it, you could see that you could change it to NTSC. But I don't think anyone's going to be able to hack this service. I just want to know, Finance, maybe you can explain it to me. Why are they going with the PAL regions versions of these games as opposed to just NTSC for any region that uses NTSC?
Well, I mean, I would say my first thought in this, just thinking about this, is it released first in the PAL regions, like it released in Asia, it released in Japan, of course, yeah, Europe, Australia. So in terms of the United States, it's coming out 3 weeks later. We don't know what we're gonna get. It's gonna come out. It hasn't come out here yet. If we do get it like the slower versions, and we do get the versions that aren't up to the emulation quality that actually exists right now, then we can complain. But as of right now, I think it's trying to kind of just mute point, because well, yeah, it can come out. It can come out here, and be very different. So
It would be interesting if they do make the NTSC versions available, because a lot of the discourse around this at the moment is they've got both, and NTSC has the higher frame rate, which matches more closely to our current technology. So why wouldn't they just do it for everyone? Because we're in a different world now. The PAL and NTSC regional options aren't really a necessity anymore.
yeah,
Do I
Yeah.
have that wrong?
no,
You
you're
tell me.
totally
I
right.
mean, you tell me. You live in a PAL region. I mean, you use NTSC in Australia, right?
No, we use PAL.
PAL's okay.
PAL.
But they're on the same level as what you're saying,
No, I'm
or they
saying
should
that,
be.
well, the technical level, PAL is slower because of the regional availability of technology. They had to match the frame rate to be able to make
Oh,
that happen. So technically, what we would have experienced compared to you guys with NTSC would have meant that our games maybe run a little bit slower or differently. But
okay.
we didn't have an internet to complain about that at the time. Whereas these days, not only do we have the internet to complain about it, which is probably where this article is really derived from, but we also have equivalent technology available across the world. Like when's the last time you've worried about a DVD region and not being able to put it in your DVD player? I haven't thought about DVD regions for years.
It's
It
been
may
a
not have
minute
been
now.
relevant to you guys even, but for
Yeah,
us in Australia, getting imports for a lot of things meant that we had to make sure that we got it from Europe or some parts of Asia, I think. And there were a lot of small websites that sold specifically that region to Australia only because they knew they could capitalize on that for DVD sales and even game sales. Yeah, it's not relevant anymore. So why wouldn't you go with the NTSC? They do have it in the bank. I
yeah.
think when it gets to America, and if they do release NTSC for you guys, I think the rest of the world is going to complain.
Oh yeah, I can see that
Definitely.
flooding already. But yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, the thing about this, it's just it's a streaming service, so it can be changed at any point. Um,
Yeah, flip a
so
switch at the server.
yeah,
Done.
keep yeah, that easy. Yeah, so I would just say, like, if you have a voice about it, or you have any complaints about it, then let Sony know. I
Yeah.
know Sony just changed some other things within their service, so we'll talk about that a little bit later. So
All right. For sure. Well, they did backtrack on this quote discount scandal that had people up in arms in Asia. Pretty much from a tweet here, due to a technical error, players in Asia who have previously purchased a PlayStation Plus membership at a discount have been incorrectly charged for their upgrade pricing. This error has been fixed, and impacted players will receive a credit. Thank you for your patience. Pretty much the update. After effectively admitting that it intended to wipe out historical discounts for those looking to upgrade their PlayStation Plus memberships, it's beginning to look like Sony has backtracked. The company, perhaps sensing colossal backlash, has made some adjustments to its upgrade calculation tool, ignoring any previous deals that have been uh, taken advantage of. I suppose. I mean, do you think this was a scandal? Do you think it was actual error, or
Uh,
Matt?
Look, they haven't had a good track record with money and upgrades, we might say. The issue in question that we haven't talked about here yet is that people who were looking to upgrade to another tier after they had a backdated discount on their PS Plus already found that they had to make up the gap in the discount and then pay for the new tier to be able to upgrade, which for some of them meant hundreds of dollars equivalent, I
yeah.
presume, which isn't great. It's kind of on the same level as you have to pay $10 for a game you already have to play it on the new console when it releases.
And the great part about that was the ones that they would track were people that purchased through the PSN store, or that they purchased a digital code. were the only ones that they can track. So it wasn't even everyone that that actually like had a discount. It was everyone that had a digital discount that actually got like that purchased the digital version of the PlayStation Network.
So
And then
just to clarify that point, if they go to a store and they've
Mhm.
got a good mate behind the counter and they say, I'll give you 80% off for these PlayStation Plus subscriptions, that discount isn't accounted for. Just the ones that are given by the store,
Yeah.
the digital store.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was only affecting their most hardcore, and then their like most like loyal people that like actually purchase through the store. Because I never purchase through the PlayStation Store because the best discounts could be found outside of the store.
Yeah.
So I'm always
Always.
purchasing,
Amazon, they always have
yeah,
discounts.
I mean just anywhere else, and
Yeah,
I
just
do
anywhere
stack.
else.
I do stack, and so when I heard about this, I was like, oh no! I was like, I have multiple years of PlayStation. They're gonna charge me hundreds of dollars. But yeah, this was just kind of crazy when I did hear about it and just in general. But the
Well, there was an
comments,
issue with the stacking too, wasn't
oh
there?
yeah,
Yeah,
oh
it
yeah,
was.
Yeah.
yeah.
If I ask you, better watch your bank account in case they try charging you, because
Well, that's the thing. So when you tried to activate your new PlayStation Plus subscription, it prompted you. You would see on screen the package that you can upgrade to, but then when trying to purchase the package, it would then prompt you to say like, "Hey, you've purchased a discounted version of this, and you have 3, 4, 5 years of PlayStation Plus in order to move forward with the upgrading to the PlayStation service. You have to pay, you know, $300, $200, or
damn.
whatever that amount was."
So
And
hang on, you had to pay the gap up to however many years on your
oh
subscription you
yeah,
had.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So
that's ridiculous.
if you stacked for 10 years, you had to pay for that entire. You had to pay in order to use the service. You had to pay the entire stacked amount. So it's not
Yeah,
like you just pay for
if
one year
if that were
and
me, I
then
would have
you're
called
good.
Sony. Fuck that.
And that was the crazy part about this. And it was just like, wow. It was like Sony's trying to nickel and dime. And I saw both ends of the spectrum in terms of like on the comments section. I saw people like saying, well, like if PlayStation lets you do this, they're gonna lose millions of dollars and blah 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 blah. And then there was the other end of people saying like, like Sony, can spare, like they're selling like hotcakes and blah blah blah. They can spare to lose a couple $1 million, and now they're just trying to get you for every penny. And I mean, it was a real discussion. People
Mhm.
were upset, and other people were like, "Well, you're out of luck." But then only like a day or two later, Sony reversed it once they received the backlash.
Well, I mean, I think it was more backlash. I don't think that it was a technical
Oh no,
error.
this wasn't a technical error, because if you called like this is you call their customer service line, their customer service agents were prompted to say like, yes, you had to pay the difference and instruct them. This was on their blog.
Mhm.
That
Yeah.
it wasn't on their blog ahead of time. It was on their blog once it went live in these regions. That you have to pay the difference, and then once again, their user interface would prompt you the exact amounts. So this was a very calculated thing. This was not an error whatsoever. But
No.
Sony is just like, okay, let's just say it was a mistake and let's fix it. And
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yep.
mean,
Yeah. Like you said, Matt, they don't have a good track record when it comes to this kind of thing.
But let me throw Sony a bone here. Having worked in corporate and worked with a number of people who operate in finance systems, I can understand why a big business would want to avoid complexity. And it's probably easier for them to have the quick math say, we've got an upper end for this tier, you're not paying that much, you have to make up the difference. That's simple math. Whereas if you're having to account for multiple discounts, you're pulling variables of information from someone's account that can sometimes be prone to error. They want to keep making money, but they definitely don't want to lose money. So there may be an error level of transaction with that extra complexity that may have made them want to just put it out there and see what happens, and then, oh, whoops, sorry, error. We'll get a few people on it and we'll fix it. And
Regardless of this, I'm sorry. Continue.
just going to say the phased rollout is probably something that would have been precipitated by this too. Don't do the whole planet. Just impact one continent, and then you'll fix it on the way through. And America will be last, of course, because you guys are rabid, aren't you?
Yeah, we're loud. We're very loud and angry people. But no, it's just this entire rollout has just been just a mess. This whole PlayStation Plus upgrade system and the communication has just been horrible throughout. And I think that's the biggest part, and the why gamers at this point are like very angry just about PlayStation and the money and so far in the games. Like, we were supposed to have 700 games announced. We don't have that. We were supposed to, the whole tier system was a mess in just communicating that and just like what these tiers are and what they're going to include. And then we figured out stacking. We're like, oh yeah, and they said they would honor it if you have PlayStation Now and you have PlayStation Plus, we'll upgrade you to the premium service right off the bat. And then everyone started stacking, and then they reversed on that. They're like, oh no more stacking. We're gonna block you. No one can renew their memberships. So they canceled membership renewal. People still can't renew their memberships. If this hasn't rolled out, which it only hasn't rolled out in the United States at this point, I believe. You cannot renew your membership if you bought multiple PlayStation Now memberships or PlayStation Plus memberships to stack them. So people are sitting on those, and then to go from that into them not communicating that, hey, we're going to have you pay the difference. If you purchased at a discount, you're going to have to pay the difference for everything that, every year that you purchased is, man, it's a bad look. And it's just a real bad look. But here we are. I appreciate PlayStation giving us something to talk about.
Show me someone these days. Show me a subscription service these days that has no unhappy people. Everyone's got something to complain about.
Yeah. Even with the supposedly the best one out there, but we'll talk about that a little later. So tease, yes,
Netflix?
tease. No, I was talking about gaming, not Netflix.
There are no happy users with Netflix right now. They're tanking, man. They're talking about job losses. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, they've had layoffs and everything. All right, so I guess Sly Cooper. When's the last Sly Cooper game came out? About 10 years ago. Apparently, is it coming back? It's been hinted at, according to last year, Xbox Era podcast host Nick Baker revealed that, according to their source, there is in fact a new Sly Cooper game on the way. We got a little more info about this rumored new game in a more recent episode of their podcast. I guess they've been hearing something that it's going to be coming out like toward the end of 2022. Is Sly Cooper a franchise you guys would like to see back in Sony's catalog? They didn't have one for the PlayStation 4. They didn't even remaster any of those games. So the last one was on PS3. Matt, do you ever play any Sly Cooper games?
I did not, but I hear about it a lot. I think Sly Cooper is on the same level as Blinks the Time Cat and, not Jack and Daxter, Knack. There's a fan base strong enough that is happy to speculate about these game franchises enough that there may be a game, but then is still happy to shit on it later. It's like the Call of Duty cycle, right? So I've heard about Sly Cooper. That's about all that I've got to say about it.
Finest, I know
if one comes out.
Finest, I know you've had it on your PS3, right? I think.
Yeah. I've had all the Sly Coopers. I would say it's a little bit stronger than Blinks the Time Cat. But
I'd put it above that one.
I cannot agree or disagree. Convince me.
But yeah, no, I mean, I don't know what to really tell you except like if you go on like the PlayStation Reddit, for like retro games and stuff like that, like you you'll definitely hear like about a fan base. Once again, just loud people that
Hmm.
potentially want this game to come back. I think it fell short. The gameplay I felt was like relatively a lot smoother than maybe some of those initial games. Like if you're talking about like your platformers like Spyro and
Crash Bandicoot.
Crash Bandicoot was a little bit different because that was like more
Gex
of like a
3D.
runner.
Oh yeah, that was more.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Gex 3D. Yeah, that takes me back. Oh my gosh. But yeah, no, the gameplay was relatively smooth. I think it was one of the higher end games. I just don't think maybe aesthetically it captured people. And then I think the other aspect to that was I don't think it just got the press that it needed in order to be like one of those big hit and big major franchises within the PlayStation ecosystem. But I think for the people that did play it, I think they really did enjoy it, and yeah, I think it deserves a reboot. I mean, long as they can do right by the history of it,
Yeah.
um, they don't stray too far. But it was a funny game. It was a lot of fun, and yeah, I would like to see it come back personally.
Yeah, I never played it on my PS3. I mean, I still have my PS3 right now, so if I do see any of the games at a gaming convention or whatnot, I definitely will pick it up. Definitely for the right price. I mean, it kind of sucks that it didn't make it to the PS4. So like you said, finance, maybe it wasn't advertised well enough for it to be strong push for the PS4. I mean, that was Sony's decision at the end of the day, so we will never know. But I mean, the gameplay footage I've seen from all these games, and from what I've heard from you and other people, I've heard these games were great. So
Yeah,
I would love to see it come back.
yeah, they
Segue
were all
time.
Definitely.
relatively good.
Yeah.
Oh, what's up?
Segue. Blip, 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 blip. Sorry, we're in virtual call mode here. Segue time. Does Sly Cooper, the new Sly Cooper, be announced as a PSVR 2 game?
Okay. Let's get into
No.
it. It will. Well, speaking of the PSVR 2, it will have over 20 launch games. And Finance, I know you're a big 3D guy. I'll let you take it away from here because I know you're all over the PSVR 2. You
I
know.
don't even have a PlayStation 5. What do you
Oh yeah.
mean?
I
He's
mean, you
busy
can.
writing fanfic about, those 110 resolution screens and what are those
Yeah,
other aspects?
exactly. Yeah, I mean the specs on it are sounding pretty good. People are still very much a little bit torn about that wire
Oh yeah, the
that this
wire.
headset is potentially going to have one wire. I think when I read about this article, from VGC, I think the two things that hit me the most is why are they talking about the games? Like they've only recently shown the actual headset itself. They given us specs in a blog post, or no, the Mark Cerny presentation. They gave specs and then they elaborated on those specs in a blog post. But that's the only thing we've really heard about PlayStation VR. And now we're talking about that launch. There's going to be over 20 games. So in terms of just like marketing and the way a marketing cycle typically works, the drip feed of content and the way it's being presented tells me that this is coming out very soon.
Hmm.
That we
Yep.
are going to get hit with this very, very soon.
So
And
sooner than you
September
think.
is what people were talking about.
yeah, we're talking about this year, which was actually one of my predictions, I think, last year or maybe the beginning of this year.
the the
So,
the PSVR 2 would come out in 2022.
yeah,
Yep, that
yeah.
was
Okay.
it.
And then the other aspect to this is the game is the headset is going to have 20 games at launch, and I think that's a little deceptive or very scary because
At
the
launch. At launch.
well,
Yeah,
yeah,
think about this.
well no, just the thing is, look at the games. The PlayStation VR already has such a library of VR games. Why is there only going to be 20 games at launch is one way I think about it. But the other aspect to that, I'm just like, okay, they probably mean there's only going to be like 20 new games. Like there's going to be like 20 new games for you to experience at launch. In addition to that library is what I'm hoping this is what I'm hoping that they mean, because we better have backwards compatibility with everything that they had previously on the PlayStation VR. And I'm hoping, oh, I'm sorry. What's up?
I'm just going to read the quote from Jim Ryan for you. But
Oh, okay,
finish your point.
please. I was just gonna say, I hope like they bring some other games that we didn't have access to on the PlayStation VR, like Half-Life Alyx. Like, I think that would be a banger, and I think would really push sales for the PlayStation VR. So I would love to see something like that. Moss 2 just recently came out for PlayStation VR, the first one, and no one's going to play that because no one's going to bust out the PlayStation VR to play a new PlayStation VR game. It also did come out on Oculus, so yes, if you have it, go play it on that. But that's gonna also be on the new PlayStation VR too. So like I'm excited to see what's going on. But please read that quote because obviously I missed that.
Oh yes.
No, no.
Well,
Well, this is just it's the one of those quotes where you read into it and you find out all the things that you've been talking about. You're like, they didn't say this, they didn't say that. Right now, there is a considerable amount of money being spent on partnerships with independent and other third-party developers to secure a considerable pipeline of attractive VR content at the launch of PlayStation VR 2. From Jim Ryan. Now, what you said could be true. Partnerships doesn't necessarily mean new IP, new content. But I think the key thing they want to get across here is that you're not buying a new piece of tech that has 3 games on it. They probably want to push sales of this product really, really quick. And because there's a back catalog of games that will hopefully be backwards compatible with this unit as well, which I think they
better
have
be.
said, then they just want to make sure that there's enough there, because that's been a problem with VR before. It hasn't. They expected it to shoot right up because it was so innovative and immersive, but it didn't do that. It was kind of middling for a long time, and that was mostly because of the games. I think they were on the rails experiences, and there wasn't much gameplay to be had. But they've talked about the Guerrilla Games Horizon Forbidden West thing that they've got rolling. That, in addition to being able to say that there's at least 20 things that you will have the opportunity to play on this new device, maybe that just means that the games can be in whatever state or released at whatever time they like, because you're going to be able to enjoy the 4K HDR units over your eyes, get the 120 hertz refresh rate, and get that inside-out tracking to be, more accurate than those Move controllers that you had for 10 years. Like that might be the stuff that they're resting on and trying to find a balance for. But look, you're absolutely right. It could be Horizon Call of the Mountain and 19 other games that have already come out. Like, we just don't know.
Yeah, I think the important part is, very much what you said in terms of middling. Yeah, like the fidelity necessarily wasn't there in these games, and the hardware just wasn't as powerful as it needed to be, and it really did tear people, like in terms of like people said like, oh, I'm never doing VR again because of their experiences, because it made them sick, it made them nauseous. It
Well, if
was
they played Wipeout, they
uncomfortable.
probably. Oh, sorry. I was saying if they played Wipeout, it probably made them sick.
See, Wipeout didn't make me sick though. I totally had fun like doing my loopy loops in the headset. But I did get sick in other games. And that's the thing. There's definitely a VR tolerance that you build. So the more you're in the headset, the more of that tolerance you build, and you're very much able to hang within those games more. So the really the key part of that is just reduction of that sick, that uneasy feeling, and that that feeling from being like kind of disconnected from your movement to what you're actually doing, and really allowing your mind to feel like it's at ease within the system, is
So
going to be an important part.
should that be the byline of this product? A product
Yeah.
so good you'll want to play to build up your VR tolerance, or
Tolerance.
whatever you put it.
Oh,
Get
No,
VR
I
drunk
I don't
with the
think that's gonna
VR
sell.
2.
they could have did that with the last one.
Yeah.
And my last point is just they have to be games. Matt, like you said, a lot of them were on rails. They were, and a lot of them still are. They need to be actual games, and like Astrobot Rescue Mission, and I talked about um, Half-Life Alyx. Like Moss, like though they have to be games like that. They just can't be they could be experiences. They could have experiences, but in order to really sell this headset to people, people are gonna want games this time around. It was great. We got a taste of it. We got experiences. I got dunked in a shark tank and had the shark swim around me 1,000 times and try to eat me out of my cage. That was great. Cool. I've experienced that. But now I want to actually be engaged and involved in these worlds. And I want to be able to do things and save people in a 3D world that's immersive. You know, if I'm paying X amount for this headset, I think the PlayStation VR started at 400. So if I'm paying $400 for this headset, that needs to be the case. You have to bring
Yeah.
the games.
Yeah, they are gonna have to bring it, especially with the PS5 already costing $500, and no one can find it. Yeah, it's just if it's gonna be that much, you got to put out some good quality, finished, ready games for it.
Alien Isolation VR.
That'd be awesome.
They do an
Yeah,
actual, instead of the mod, which apparently the shooting is horrible, but do a proper mod of that. That'll
Yeah.
get you in.
I wouldn't
You'll,
be able to do it. I'd play
it'll be
30
full
seconds and
immersion.
quit.
Instead of people having to throw buckets of water on you to get that immersion, you will literally poo your pants because of that experience. That's what I've been told anyway.
Yeah, and it's supposed to have eye tracking in this one supposedly. So
well,
they haven't announced that part yet. So I'm
Oh
curious to see.
god. All I
yeah.
thought of was ad targeting when you said
Uh,
that.
I'm sure
Ad
that'll be one
targeting,
feature.
ad
Yeah.
targeting, eye
You
targeting.
can't look away from the ad. That's
All
what
right.
I'm hearing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so we brought up Netflix earlier, how they tanking, but apparently they're going to be getting Horizon series for Netflix and God of War series for Amazon and a Gran Turismo show. Now, the first two sound great. Gran Turismo, how do you make a show about a race? Well, I guess they're going to add people to it, I guess. And
Let me help you.
yes.
Have you seen a very popular movie franchise called
Oh yeah.
Cars?
Oh yeah. Cars, Need for Speed. I guess. Okay, I guess. Yeah.
No, I'm I'm trying to make a joke about anthropomorphizing, the Nissan Skyline in a Gran Turismo TV
Yeah.
show. It wouldn't work.
Yeah.
But there's capacity there. Like
Hmm.
people have an appetite for really weird, unusual car-based programs.
Hmm.
Fast and Furious
Fast and the
is
Furious. That's a great one.
they've layered things on top of those cars to the point where it's not even about the cars really anymore. But
I think it's stopped being about the cars since like the fifth or sixth film, and I'm a big fan of that franchise. So yeah,
yeah, me too.
it's a yeah, it definitely went in a different direction. But
Jaguar
yeah,
Drift
Grant.
number one.
So I think so my understanding, and I don't have the article here, but I think they've since then corrected that they're not doing necessarily a Gran Turismo TV show. But I would have to fact check that. But in terms of they've already had, this isn't PlayStation's first attempt at a show.
Mhm.
They had a show in the past that was, I believe it was for Gran Turismo. It was at least a car show where they would have people, like regular, like your average people, compete in simulation races on the Gran Turismo game,
Mhm.
and then those people, based on who won, they actually got to drive real life race cars, and some of them actually flourished and actually became, real life race car drivers. And there was a show about that. So for the winner, they got to actually compete in, I don't know if it was the Indy 500 or what type. I don't know if they were doing F1 or NASCAR or what. But this isn't their first foray into shows. And then yeah, that show wasn't wildly successful. But I believe you could have watched it on the PlayStation View if you guys remember that show.
Yeah, it was
That that
a
that that that
service.
that service, and
Service. Yeah.
then yeah, and then I think they're going to do a Gran Turismo movie. I think is what the
So
correction I heard.
I've done
Okay.
some fact checking for you.
Thank you.
I found jalopnik.com, which has reported that it was originally said to be a TV show, that they have then, that Deadline barged in with conflicting reports that it's not a TV show but a movie, and that Neil Blomkamp has been brought in as the director.
Okay. That would make more
Not-
sense, a movie as opposed to TV shows. I mean,
I
at
feel the
least to me.
opposite.
Neil Blomkamp, though, like we're talking about the guy who was going to do the Halo movie, Elysium, District 9. Like he's out there.
I love District 9. Yeah.
Yeah, like the story is incredibly unusual. He's good at doing kind of gore horror stuff. So if they're getting him in and they get his movie house in to do the production, we could be looking at some incredibly detailed vehicles for this Gran Turismo show. If they're choosing to CG animate it instead of having it in real life, which could very well be the case these days, especially with the assets they've got.
Yeah, I'd like to see a CGI if they're going to do like a car like show or movie.
You know what I want to see though? I want to see Initial D, but not as a show that laughs at itself a little bit.
They already have the anime. Isn't that enough for you?
Dude, that's like Dragon Ball Z, but for cars. I want to see a show that takes itself seriously. Like, I don't want to have a whole episode be one guy turning a corner and reacting and hearing his thoughts and heavy breathing, while the guy behind him also breathes heavy and does exactly the same thing in his car. Not to say I didn't enjoy that.
Sorry,
But I'd
DBZ
like
fans. sorry.
I remember Initial D just being like the most popular thing in the arcade. Like I remember when that came out, like that was one of the last games I saw at the arcade. That was like,
dude, when the Toyota
it game.
86 came out, I wanted that because of Initial D. But then everybody did too, so then I kind of changed my mind.
Any thoughts on God of War or
God of War?
Horizon?
God of War. I think it makes more sense. I think that will actually be really good, especially if not so much with Sony, but other video games can be series like The Witcher. My wife loves that show on Netflix, The Witcher.
Well, this is where the studios are going to come in and the production, I think, because the fact that God of War is under Amazon, I think, is a great thing. Because seeing the Lord of the Rings stuff, they're clearly willing to throw so much money behind a property that they think will be successful, even if it's all wasted.
Yeah.
So
God of War, I think is going to do great, regardless of if it's on Amazon or Netflix. But it looks like Amazon.
I saw reports of Dave Bautista tweeting about potentially being Kratos. So if there's any truth behind that, I'm already not a fan. Like,
wait, what's wrong with Bautista?
Bautista is a great actor.
He is. He's a pretty good actor, in my opinion.
But he's too short.
And I don't agree. I don't agree with the first comment, and I do totally agree with the second one. Yes, I don't think he's a great actor. But that's
Have
just
you
my
seen
opinion.
Stuber?
Stuber? No,
that's a very long drawn reference. Kumail Nanjiani is an Uber driver that drives him around because he got glasses, basically, as a police officer.
It sounds like some of his best work. But I don't know. But
you're not a fan of Bautista? Okay, I mean,
that's me.
All right, and then what about Horizon Forbidden West? Do you think or Horizon Zero Dawn, or I guess we're just going to call it Horizon, going to Netflix? You think that'll work?
Aloy's Adventure. Who knows what it could be? But I've got a feeling it's going to be animated. I think they're going to animate it like the Witcher special episode that came out.
That was good. The prequel.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Because they're an animation house now. That's where a lot of their good stuff lies. They've had success with Castlevania. Mm-hmm. They had that Witcher special movie as well. I reckon it's going to be animated.
Yeah, they do. They did League of Legends, Arcane. So they're totally our animation house, and so many great animations there. I would prefer that because once again, I just been on Twitter. It's not like I'm on Twitter a lot, but I have been, I guess, recently. And there's been, as soon as they announced this, I saw a lot of back and forth about who Aloy could be. And I didn't agree with anyone's casting decisions myself. I'd rather have a nobody. Give me a nobody. Oh, please.
I have one. I have one that I think will be perfect. And shout out to the podcast Assemble, which is the blokes on that podcast I know very well. In an Instagram story from them, they postulated that it could be Rose Leslie, who played Ygritte on Game of Thrones. She was also in Downton Abbey. I'll share the the Instagram image with you guys after the show, and you can add it to the show notes. Check the show notes, people, and you'll see what I mean. I think
for
Rose
sure.
Leslie
Well, I already
gets
know who you're
incredibly
talking
close.
about because I love Game of Thrones.
Yeah, Egret.
Yeah, but I think that's almost too on the nose for me because when I saw Ingrid in Game of Thrones, I was just like, oh, it's Aloy. I said that like 3-4 years ago when I saw the show. I was like, oh, it's Aloy,
That's
and they wouldn't even have to they wouldn't have to change anything about her. They put her in the exact same outfit from Game of Thrones, and she already had braids. I mean, she's Aloy. I mean, so. Like I said, I'd rather have a nobody. Give me someone I haven't seen before so I can kind of disassociate. Because if I see, Ingrid from or Egret from Game of Thrones, then I'm going to see Egret in Horizon, and I just don't want that. So
Then the last question I'll postulate to you is Lance Reddick voiced a character from Horizon, and he's a popular actor already. Do you think they get him? Do you know who I'm talking about, by the way?
If it's animated, perhaps.
let's see. I probably do. I just don't know the name offhand.
I'll try to be less spoilery. But here's the bloke you find halfway through Zero Dawn that tells you about the history of the planet who's been hunting you down.
Silence. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the guy.
Yeah. So when I see him, I see Lance Reddick. Yes.
Oh
Yeah.
Yeah, and that really also takes me out of the immersion also.
Really?
Yeah, but I think he does a great job. That I'm not taking away from him in his acting in Horizon Zero Dawn. But yes, when I see him, I do see Lance, and that kind of, it pulls me out of it a little bit. But I knew him in Horizon before I knew him as an actor. So
You never watched Fringe?
No, I never watched Fringe. I know of the show.
Must watch. He's also the concierge of the hotel in New York in the John Wick series.
All right.
Charon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I already know. I know who you're talking about. Yeah, I just didn't even put that together.
There you go. I'm that guy who sits there going, "Oh, he was in that thing."
Oh yeah.
I do that through everything I watch. I'm really bad for it.
All right. So next week or this week, whenever you're listening or watching the rerun of this podcast, State of Play coming Thursday, June 2nd, and it is expected to be 30 minutes. It's going to be at 3 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time or 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. You can watch it on their Twitch, their YouTube, and let's speculate what they're going to talk about. God of War Ragnarok, any PSVR 2 launch titles, Final Fantasy 16, Stray. What do you guys think? Is this going to be a big one, or is this going to be a dumper like some of the other ones? And let's be real, there have been some pretty bad State of Plays.
What we do not want to see is Forspoken being pushed again. I can't see it happening, but this would be a good chance for them to do it if they were going to. I do want to see Stray though, because that was announced last year, I think, and the fact that it was announced and we've heard nothing about it, and it was so close to Ghostwire Tokyo, I think it just kind of got forgotten about. I want to play as walking kitties through Tokyo doing dystopian cat things. I want to see that. Stray would be good.
Yeah, Stray. That was a weird trailer. So yeah, it'd be nice to see a little bit more about that.
You guys just ain't cat people. I'm sorry.
Love kitties. Don't you like cats?
I'm just kidding. I mean, we're more dog people, but I mean, I have nothing against cats. But
There will be dogs in that game. They will be bad people though. They'll be bad guys.
There's a reason why Monster Hunter added dogs to their games.
Destiny 2 did too, actually. I saw a news article of that today that Destiny 2 has added a dog pat emote, and they're donating the proceeds made by that emote to charity.
Oh well, that's actually a game I could pick up for Days of Play. They discounted last season at least, so the Witch Queen expansion. So it's still going for like $28 or maybe $32, which I'm like, damn man, drop drop that. but
Live service, fella.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, I know. I've already spent too much money on that game, so.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, no, there's some there's some games that they could really dive into for this state of play. I think, yeah, like you said already, Final Fantasy 16, I think is going to be a big one. I think they
Hmm.
could also mention some Final Fantasy 7 stuff. Um,
Perhaps.
yeah,
I think the Cyberpunk story DLC might get a mention as well. That rocketed into the news this week after hackers jumped into the latest, or one of the latest Cyberpunk updates and pulled the entire script of that story update that should be coming next year, I think they said. So they might want to get on the front foot with that and talk about that DLC, perhaps. Cyberpunk is still a good game. I
Yeah.
will say that
Yeah,
as well.
yeah, it is.
Worth a
I
play.
think for me, I think we will definitely hear something about Stray. It is coming out soon in like July or something I heard. So I think we will be seeing some gameplay of that. God of War. I mean, j- I the more reports I'm reading, the more I'm believing that it will come out this year. So who knows? Maybe we'll get some kind of release date or something.
11/11/22. Telling you, people are saying September. It's coming out. It's gonna take over. It's gonna take over
Starfield.
Starfield State. Yep, they're gonna
You know
push
what
it
I
back
think?
just for that reason.
Ragnarok is going to get released sooner than you expect. August. I still think August.
I'd be very surprised if it's before September that that game gets released. But I mean,
You guys know. You guys listening. August. Quote me.
all right, finest things November. I think if it does come out this year, it will be either September or October. Matt is thinking August. Okay.
Yep. Makes sense.
All right. All right.
But there could be some indie stuff that gets announced here too. It's a good time for
Yeah.
indie,
Yeah.
I think. So see
Yeah,
what
I think. I
happens.
mean, I can see PlayStation relying heavily on their third party this year. I mean, they have God of War. Do we really see anything else from them this year? I don't know. I really don't know.
We'll just have to wait and see.
I mean,
The look
we've
on
already had
the
a banger year. Oh, I could see a new game from Kojima. Like I can see him announcing a new game.
And
That's not
well,
that's not.
apparently
Death
Death
Stranding
Stranding
2.
2. Yeah, that might be a
Yeah.
thing, but it probably isn't. I wouldn't put my money on Kojima doing anything. He's too unpredictable.
All right. So that's enough with the Sony heavy news. We probably should have just did this episode just dedicated to Sony because they seem to
Just
dominate the news this week.
very quickly before we move on, there's one that you missed that came out, admittedly, not that you missed it deliberately, but they have apparently pledged to sell more PS5 consoles in the run up to 2024 than PS4 consoles historically.
Oh yeah, I've read it. I think early this morning. I think it was a late article.
Yep, they made that
yeah.
pledge. So maybe PSVR 2 would be more accessible to people if the PlayStation consoles become more available as well. And that's them tic-tacking off all the chip shortage stuff that we've been hearing for the last 3 months. So
Yeah,
keep an eye on that.
yeah, definitely something to keep an eye on. All right,
Or
well,
Sony
shit.
squirrels have been ferreting away their chips just for this very purpose. Who knows?
All right, so we're gonna shift our gears now, going to Xbox, and yeah, we'll just touch on them real quick. And I know one of our friends of the show, occasional host, Mark, was not happy to hear people writing anti articles about Game Pass and the burnout and people canceling the service because no AAA games are coming out or whatever. What are you guys' thoughts on the burnout? Is the burnout real for Xbox Game Pass, or is it still the best service in all of gaming, or subscription service in all of gaming, I should say?
It's
Matt,
definitely the best.
it's
Definitely
definitely
the
the
best.
best.
I think, and I specifically did my most recent Dead Drop podcast episode about clickbait and misinformation and speculation,
Yeah, it
partly
was kind of
because
funny.
of these articles. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. But that this kind of speculation, and it again, I will say based on jumping off the content of that episode, both of these articles that we'll be talking about, both with Ed Fries as the ex-president of Microsoft talking about Xbox Game Pass being in trouble or causing trouble for the industry, and the Xbox burnout stuff, both from Kotaku. But I don't think there's burnout at all. I think people need to understand what the choice is that they're making when they go into these subscription services. And if people are moving out en masse because they only want to play AAA games, that's not burnout. That's people making good budgeting decisions and spending their money where they want their money to be spent. Like, it's not a big... There's got to be a reason why Game Pass doesn't allow you to buy a 12-month subscription. Because if they did, that's probably where these people would really be riling up, and there'd be more people talking about how they've locked them into a service that they now can't get out of, simply because they can't get access to the games that they want. That is not what Game Pass is for. It's a platform to give you access to games that you otherwise wouldn't. Somehow, through some sort of magic, it drives more sales than if it didn't exist. And I don't know how that happens, but it does. And, burnout... People are doing a lot of this speculative stuff because they're worried about streaming services and subscription services pulling away from single game purchases that people make. And that's the other article that we might talk about in a sec from Ed Fries, the ex-Microsoft president, who talked about Spotify splitting the music industry in half, where in fact, now 10 years on, we're looking at $10 billion in extra revenue because these subscription services work. But it's still in its initial phases. And the fact that we've also got the Netflix fatigue, let's call it, to be generous. They make one decision about money that has pushed everybody over the line, and all of a sudden everyone's just out of it. But by that point, you've got your Peacocks, you've got your Disney Pluses, you've got your HBO Maxes, you've got all these streaming services that people can use. And it's starting to happen here too. You've got your PS Pluses, plus extra pluses, whatever it's called. You've got your Nintendo Switch Onlines, you've got your Humble Bundles, you've got your Steams. All these places that aren't necessarily subscription services, but, EA Play is available in some of those as subscriptions too. Like, it's bundled in. This whole live service culture isn't going away. But
No, it's not.
If the burnout is related to them stealing your money, they're giving you the opportunity to not spend the money there if you don't want to. Like, I think the console wars are starting to drift into the subscription service wars, which ultimately that's not what it's about. It's meant to solve that problem. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm a bit... I got a bee in my bonnet about this one. I don't think it's... I think everyone's panicking over nothing. Anyone worried about Xbox Game Pass, it being in trouble, has nothing to worry about. Their earnings calls have been massive. Like 25 million users, I think they said at some point in the last 6 months.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're not doing any AAA titles. Okay. But they're creating a platform and creating relationships with a bunch of indie developers, which some admittedly say that if they don't go on Game Pass, then they don't have as much exposure. Of course, because you've got 25 million people that can play your game if you put it on that service. And for a game like Unpacking, which has been doing incredibly well, that was on Game Pass day one. And they're still doing great. Like, I think game development and stuff in the gaming industry is just as fragile as it's always been. I don't think there's burnout. I think people might not want to spend their money there anymore.
Yeah.
But there's so many options out there. Why would you be worried about Game Pass alone? That would be my question.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's gonna like implode or anything. I mean, me personally, I've been paying for Game Pass just about all year long. I canceled my subscription early this morning. I just hadn't been playing it. I'm just being honest. But if there's something on there I really want to play, I'll start doing it again. I mean, the only thing I was playing was like Forza Horizon 5. If I really want the game, I'll just go out and buy it at this point now. So it's like, the new the black and white
Trek to Yomi?
Trek to Yomi.
Okay.
Yeah. That was a game I was playing also, and it was all right, but I don't think I want to finish it. But hey, I'm glad I had the opportunity to play it through Game Pass. So
Yeah. Tunic.
Yeah,
Tunic was a great one. I think it's one of the examples of the reason that you go to Game Pass for this stuff.
Yeah.
Secret day one announcement. Drop it straight in. Drives the subscriptions for them, but you get access to it as a game and then a bunch of other stuff too. Like,
Yeah.
Yep.
but you're doing the right thing. You're like, haven't been playing those games, so I'll just stop.
Yeah, the only thing I really mainly game on right now is just my PS5 and Switch. I'm just being honest. So I mean, no point in throwing away $15 a month if I'm gonna play this service one time a month. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's just me. That's just
And I totally agree with you guys. Like, there's no like burnout in this article, and in terms of just all this being clickbait, I completely agree. Now, I canceled my Game Pass for different reasons. Just because I felt like I was kind of betrayed in a sense. But
But
that
you
being
made the
said,
decision based on
Yeah.
that. Like, it was a calculated one.
yeah, it was a calculated decision, and I'm going to be the first one to buy Game Pass again when when the games that I am interested in do come out. And then what's going to happen? Their subscriber base is going to shoot through the roof, and then you're
Yeah.
going to see an article at that time that says, "Hey, there's 35 million people on Game Pass now.
Why don't you have Game Pass? Yeah.
Why don't you have Game Pass? The
Yeah,
greatest
yeah.
deal in gaming."
yeah. I mean, I still think it is, but
Yeah, I mean, it totally is. But yeah, ebbs and flows. Like it's there's nothing to fret right now. There's just like there's not like that huge thing that's gonna like draw people in, but there's still a ton of great games. There's still a ton of great indie games, and I think that's why Mark was upset. There's
Yeah.
still so much value and so much you can do and play and experience there that you're I mean, I'm kind of calling myself this, but you're kind of a fool to not realize that. But
And
at the same
that
time,
brings me. Sorry, you keep going.
oh no, I'll just finish. I'll wrap this up. But yeah, it's just like if you're able to or open to just really trying out different things, then it's still a great thing to have. And please take it away.
So that we can wrap this up with the response to Kotaku's tweet, which came from the official Xbox Game Pass account when they posted the article about the burnout. They said, "Tell us you only play AAA games without telling us you only play AAA games."
I thought that was so funny.
Totally appropriate. But yeah, no, I think I've said enough on this one.
Yeah.
And sorry I went on so long and so
No, it's all good, man. Great conversation,
stuff gets heated in the game industry. It just does, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Project Keystone is Microsoft's affordable Xbox cloud gaming streaming stick, and pretty much I believe it's a stick. Our vision for Xbox cloud gaming is unwavering. Our goal is to enable people to play the games they want on devices they want, anywhere they want. As announced last year, we've been working on a game streaming device codenamed Keystone that could be connected to any TV or monitor without the need for a console. So, to the looks of it, looks like they're either pivoting away from it or taking it back to make it stronger or something along those lines. So this is like a stick that you just plug in and you can just start like using Game Pass or whatever.
I think the big thing is the Project Keystone was rumored because it was found in the code in a console list. So someone had said, "This is the brand new console that's coming soon." But obviously they've now connected the dots there and shown that it's the cloud streaming stick that they also talked about, alongside the Samsung app for cloud TVs too. But yeah, that should be a good thing.
I mean, this is the natural flow of like what Game Pass was headed to. Like we always kind of expected it to at some point be an app or something to that degree. So I mean, yeah, that makes sense. That if they can get you Game Pass and just get you a little streaming stick that costs you $50, $60, $20, whatever it costs, and you can plug in and play games wherever you're at. I mean, that's a win for Xbox because you're going to be buying the stick. They'll probably do it maybe at cost. Maybe they might lose a little bit of something. But if you're subscribing to their subscription service, then it's a win for them because then you're going to you're gonna be in their ecosystem,
Hmm.
and you'll always be in their ecosystem because you'll be able to take it with you wherever you go. And
Yeah.
I think that's Game Pass's main thing. They just want to be everywhere, all the time, and really that's the best marketing you can have. Yeah, so it's great. But they are going back to the drawing board with this. So this isn't going to retail anytime soon. They're
Hmm.
still working on the details for this. So
Yeah, I just want to just like a clear picture of what it is, before they present it. But hey, I mean, they want you to play Xbox wherever you go, whether it be your phone, your living room with no console, just plug in your stick. Magic, apparently.
Without going too far into it, begs the question: is the demand for attention here to games something we should be concerned about? Just a hypothetical question to think about. If you can move from your Xbox where you're playing Game Pass, walk to the toilet on your phone playing the same game on Game Pass, and then walk into your bedroom, plug your Xbox streaming stick into the television, and continue playing your game. Yeah,
Essentially, I think that's what they want. I mean, but then again, it's like it's kind of like the Switch without the Switch. I guess if that makes sense.
yeah, to a degree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's an interesting one.
yeah, yeah. I mean, that's what I think.
Give me my Xbox HoloLens VR AR headset, and then we'll really be rocking.
That ain't coming, dude. It's been way too long.
I know, I
I'm
know.
sorry,
2014
Finance.
Minecraft demo.
I'm
Where
sorry,
is it
Finance,
now?
but just
I think they
yeah,
use it in architecture.
They use it in the military architecture and businesses. Yeah, they
That's
created
bad.
a HoloLens 3 or something like that for that. Yeah.
Yep.
all right. Phil Spencer says he will recognize Raven Software Union once acquisition is complete. Um, and pretty much just any employees that he's saying that just want to form a union or anything, just they will recognize it once the acquisition between Blizzard Blizzard Activision is done. So that's pretty good. That just sounds like they're going in the right direction with what they want to do,
I think they
acquiring.
probably just wanted to hang back and see what the state of things were before.
Mm,
If their employees en masse said no union for us, and they said we'll support a union, maybe Activision Blizzard wouldn't be as happy to go to Microsoft, which is of course impossible. There's no way that conversation would happen.
Do you actually have the quote for this? Because I mean, I heard the quote earlier today, and the quote was actually pretty awesome.
All right.
Um,
Yeah, I have the quote right here. Let me read it.
okay.
Once the deal closes, we would absolutely support employees' organizations that's in place. He told employees, "We think it is a right of employees and something that can be part of a relationship between a company and people who work at the company." So I think that's pretty cool. He's pretty much not saying that, hey, it's going to be this way and this way only. I mean, you know, I think some of these studios are still going to be, independent, just under the Xbox banner, if that makes sense.
Well, they're not saying yes or no, right? They're just going, good on you. Great. It's
That
nothing
was the quote
specific.
you were
Yeah,
looking for, right? That was
it is, but it's not the full quote.
uh,
The part that I found really great was the beginning part of it, where it said, Linda Norman and I have been spending a lot of time educating myself on unions, Spencer said. We absolutely support employees' right to unionize and form unions. So that was just the aspect that, like, am I okay? That was just part of that I like was like, wow, like he's not only acknowledging like the fact that, like, once this project all goes through, or once this acquisition goes through, that they'll be open to allowing a union to form within the company and then working together, but that he's not knowledgeable on them. Like, he doesn't know, like, he doesn't have all the right answers, but he's willing to like listen, learn, and make decisions from there. So I just like that, like, or at least that's the way I interpreted it. But I like that part of the quote.
Papa Phil, he
Yeah.
approves. He's not disappointed. He approves.
Papa Phil there. Speaking of one last bit of Xbox Series X news, it is available to order from Microsoft and Costco. So if you want one, go get one. But just keep in mind, I don't know when the next first party game is coming forward, unfortunately. So, but I mean, if
That's PlayStation 5s too. The PlayStation 5's having a major restock tomorrow, the 28th.
okay,
And they said on their blog it'll be available everywhere.
okay, well, we'll just have to wait and see. I mean, well, it's the days of play, so I mean, you would hope that they would have PS5s ready to go, right?
Yeah,
Probably
the interesting part was they mentioned in store. Like,
in store.
yeah, so you might be able to go into a store tomorrow if you get there early enough, your Target or Walmart,
Best
and
Buy,
actually
GameStop,
maybe pick it up. And they said they were gonna have bundles and non-bundles. So I found that interesting. So look for
yeah,
PlayStation Xboxes tomorrow. Tomorrow,
yeah,
like
yeah.
this
Well,
weekend's gonna be the weekend.
I was gonna go out tomorrow look for some, cheap $10 games. So if I see any, I'll definitely post some on our Discord.
Australians
Let's
should feel
see.
good too. I
Yeah.
think I told you guys about the Twitter accounts that I follow that report on available stock on websites in Australia.
Hmm.
I got like 5 yesterday, like boop, 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 all together. So I think just
Yeah.
availability is shooting up. It's good.
All right. So yeah, definitely go get one this weekend if you're watching. If you're listening in the next week, hopefully you got one. Just let us know. Email us, gameandwatchpodcast@gmail.com. The Elden Ring director, I'm not going to say his name because I know I'm just going to butcher it, but he says that he was influenced by Zelda Breath of the Wild, the Elder Scroll games, and The Witcher 3. And you had a comment in our Discord, Matt. No shit
No
or something
shit.
like.
No shit. Like
I thought that.
it's unfair. Look, he's allowed to say that what he was inspired by, and
Yeah.
if Witcher 3 and Breath of the Wild haven't had an impact on any game developers in the industry right now, then they might be running a bit behind. But, you'd expect that, totally. I think everyone was speculating that as an newly as a kind of an old IP with a brand new take on open world, that would have to be their inspiring factors. They would do their research first, I think.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
that was always the assumption. I guess it's kind of nice hearing. Like you're
Mm,
like, oh, the assumption was right. My theory, my hypothesis was correct by playing these games and assuming that this was his inspiration. I guess. I don't know. But yeah,
On a
no
similar
shit.
note, I saw a Geralt build that someone had done in Elden Ring. They
Oh,
obviously did
really?
the full dress up gear, but they even had the spells and the skills to simulate the Axii and the Igni and
Yeah,
all of
you do
those
have
runes.
potions in Elden Ring. Yeah, that's right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And bombs, apparently. There's a skill where you can
Bombs.
toss a bomb.
You
So
can do
Yeah,
that
they
in
did pretty
Zelda.
well.
You can do.
so many things you can do in Elden Ring. Gosh, the type of builds are just that's the part that amazes me. And that's why I'm
Mm.
gonna say right now I'm so excited for Armored Core.
Okay.
Like Armored
Okay.
Core is an old FromSoft game.
Yep.
Where you're aware of it. Yeah. So
Demo
just
disc,
the
PS1.
oh, there we go. I
Demo
mean, just
disc.
and I think that was the daunting part for people because people weren't used to really numbers back in the day, like all these different numbers. Because like you had to have a certain core, and with your core, you'd have had to have certain legs. You had to have a certain reactor, um, along with certain arms because the way they use energy, because everything you when you're building your armored core, everything took a certain amount of energy in order to use. So you had to look at all these stats and numbers, and I don't think people were really used to that back in the day. But I love that about that game, and just the amount of builds. Like I had a strong build, and each one would take a one memory card slot. So like so I had a lot of memory cards. I probably had like 8 memory cards, and I would like one was just an armored core memory card, and I would like make strong builds and light builds and medium builds with different, of course, different weapons and different sets, and it was it was awesome. So, and they haven't made an Armored Core game since I think the last one was on PS3, and I didn't pick that one up. So I'm really excited about their next Armored Core game because they said they're working on it. So yeah,
Is that
can't
set
wait
to be open world too?
No announcement on that. We don't know.
Nothing
So
said.
yeah.
Okay, cool.
All right. All right, so let's talk about the biggest gaming deal in the history of gaming. Take-Two and Zynga merge. I guess it's the biggest one until the one we all know about that's coming next year, unless the FTC does something to sabotage it. That'd be the only way that deal doesn't go through.
Not happening.
But yeah, Take-Two and Zynga they have merged for what is it, 12.7 billion deals done. What are you guys' thoughts on it? Should they? I guess they should just enjoy while it lasts. I guess.
Well, what could change? I'm wondering about your cynicism.
No, no. Yeah, I mean,
Sorry, put
no,
you on the spot there.
I'm pretty sure the
Do you reckon they'll sell off
Microsoft.
bits?
No, I'm pretty sure the Microsoft Activision deal is going to go through. I don't think there's going to be
Oh,
any
that's
issue.
okay.
Yeah, that's
Gotcha.
what I was referring to. Yeah.
Okay, I thought you meant that the Take-Two Zynga merger might be short-lived, and Take-Two will be like, "Ugh, have your Candy Crush."
No, no,
And
no. It will no it'll be short lived in terms of the biggest
Candy Crush.
acquisition in the history of gaming. That's what I meant. But
Okay, again, reference to my Dead Drop episode. I also talk about that clickbait headline.
Yeah, yeah, that headline. Yeah. Once you mentioned it, I was like in the Discord. I was like, "What are you talking about?" And then I read it, and I was like, "Oh, okay."
oh yeah,
Um,
oh
but yeah, I mean, it just does Take Two already have like a strong mobile division? Because that's the only reason why I can see them, merging with Zynga. Like,
it must not. But oh wait, no, they do because some of those WWE games aren't those mobile, and then something with the NBA. I could be wrong. I don't know. I don't play
yeah.
very many
So
mobile
I
games.
just find that interesting in the fact that like, we're seeing a lot of these. We're seeing like what I feel like is a lot of AAA, AA console PC studios picking up these other companies that are really focused on the mobile market, and acquiring or merging with them to I guess flush out their portfolio. I'm curious. I wish I could be a fly on the wall and see what's going on in these deals.
Yes. For the most
Sorry,
part.
I just went on the hunt. I believe that someone in our host Discord also mentioned that maybe there was an engine somewhere in there that they wanted to take advantage of. If it is about mobile development and that's an engine that does a lot of good work, then getting access to it through this might, proliferate into more revenue for them.
Yeah. Okay.
I can't find it though.
Oh.
That's how things work, right? You get a headline in your head and you're like, I know where this information lives, and then you try to find it and you can never find it again.
Yeah, pretty much. You'll find it when the episode's done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's when we always find everything. Oh, corrections. These are the real stories that we should have went with for this story and this story, and
That
all
Murphy
that
fella.
stuff. All right. Last but not least, earlier today or sometime late yesterday, it was announced that the Nintendo Switch Online has put out three batch of retro games, two SNES, one NES. The SNES games are Congo's Caper and Rival Turf. The NES game is Pinball. Uh, for the games that came out this time around, Congo's Caper is kind of more along the lines of Joe and Mac. The developer is Data East, so I mean it looks kind of similar to that. And then Rival Turf, I do remember this game. I actually do remember the corny cover art for it, but it was like looks like kind of a crappy beat 'em up if you ask me. If you guys watch what Nintendo put out for it, and then Pinball is actually it's a pretty interesting game. Mario makes an appearance. I think he was still known as Jumpman at the time, but I know what people are asking when it comes to this. When is Nintendo going to make a deal with Square so we can get Super Mario RPG on there? Mario RPG, Mario RPG. If you look at all the comments, where's Mario RPG? At least for the Super Nintendo side of things. I think the NES they've kind of already given up. But I don't think these are bad games. I mean, I've never like actually played them. I just like I've just seen like the previews of them, but they don't look too bad. Um, so I mean, should people just keep bug in Nintendo for Mario RPG, and then after that, what will it be? Or should they just play these games, shut up, and just be happy with what Nintendo's feeding them? Matt?
Is anybody happy with what Nintendo is feeding people? Sorry, that's such a backhanded question. Look, Square Enix isn't going to let go of something like that. Like, they're centralizing in on Tokyo and this Japanese property. I doubt they'll. Maybe you'll get a cloud streaming version.
Yeah, well, I mean, I just think, like, if they do give us Mario RPG, and then it's just going to be, what about Chrono Trigger? What about this game? What about, like...
I mean, we just got Mario RPG on the Super NES Mini.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you really want to play, that's the best way to play it right now. But, yeah, these games are trash. I mean, not talking about the developers of the games, but the offering is trash. I is how I really feel. But, yeah, it is what it is. I guess more games, the better, but...
I mean, it's good to see they haven't forgotten about the NES and SNES, line of services. But I mean, I think hopefully in early June, and June is almost here, we get a direct. They announce Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance games, and people I think will just forget about just offerings, like the ones we just got yesterday with Congo's Caper, Pinball, and Rival Turf.
Just don't pray that Nintendo has learned from Game Pass. Like, I think you're starting to fall into that mindset that the Game Pass definitely does, where they will dip off for a bit and then all of a sudden, bam, you've got Deathloop, all this really good stuff. Nintendo, I mean, I could be wrong here. Again, I'm not the Nintendo expert, but they don't follow a cadence that you can fit into a pattern. Right? They kind of just do stuff when they want to.
Absolutely not. Like,
so I mean, looping it back to the question that we dealt with the Xbox Game Pass stuff before. Would you continue your Nintendo Switch Online subscription, knowing that this is what has come out more recently?
Well, he doesn't have a choice. He paid for a year.
I paid for a year, so
they've locked you in.
I don't pay for that. Yeah, with the Nintendo Switch, I pay yearly for that, so I don't pay monthly for that, so it wouldn't be worth it if I was paying monthly. I can tell you that right now.
I withdraw the question.
All right. Any more comments on these games before we go to the release rundown? Nope.
Other than what are they?
No. Okay, so the release rundown. One more game coming out in the month of May. You got Snow Runner, which is already out for multiple consoles, coming to the PS5, Xbox Series X and S. That's May 31st. June 1st, we got Silt, and that's coming to everything. PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, Switch, and the PC. June 2nd, you got 3 games. You got Card Shark coming to Switch and PC. Card Shark actually looks like a really good game. It was showcased at the Nindies Direct. Pretty interesting. Diablo Immortal, also coming out June 2nd, iOS and Android. Gigapocalypse coming into the PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. And then actually one more game coming June 2nd, and that is Soldiers. It's a Metroidvania game. It actually looks really interesting, by the way. PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. And then Unexplored 2, The Wayfarer's Legacy. Also coming June 2nd, Xbox Series X and S, PS4, Xbox One, and PC. I'm pretty sure if you want to play on the PS5, you can use backwards compatibility.
That last game sounded like an Uncharted bootleg. I've got to be honest. Unexplored 2, The Wayfarer's Legacy. I'm sure it's a great game, but I just got Uncharted vibes from the name.
Yes, I think Soldiers looks like a really good game. I saw some gameplay. I've seen the images for it. I think I will be on the lookout for that one. Card Shark, it looks interesting. Not day one or first month pickup for me, but that would also be a good game, to pick up off this this coming week of games. What about you, Finest? What do you see?
Nothing that I'm interested in. I will say, I mentioned SnowRunner quite a while back. My cousin
Yeah.
introduced me to that one, and that's that trucking simulator game that I was talking about, where you're shipping supplies from like across like various terrains, like snow, hence the name.
Hmm.
And yeah, you just really have to pitch your truck the right way and steer these full semi trucks and go through these harsh conditions and dodge animals and stuff like that. So yeah, I guess based on my cousin's recommendation, I guess I would recommend that one. Other than that, I am sure there's other great games here, but nothing that I would personally recommend.
I think
Okay.
there's one that we do need to keep our eye on there. It's Diablo Immortal. I think
Diablo Immortal. Okay.
that was the one that they have recently backpedaled and said it will be available for PC as well. Though
Okay.
here they've said iOS and Android only. It was originally only going to be a mobile release. So it'll be interesting to see what state it's in currently and how they deal with getting new players in and what the player base is actually like. If you're a Diablo fan, you might be worth wanting to jump in and give it a go anyway, but I would just I would jump in and have a look.
Yeah,
Okay.
it looks like it's coming to PC. So it says 2022 when I click on the game here through the Game Informer website. So I think sometime later this year it will be on PC. So I mean, we'll just have
I
to wait and
mean,
see.
yeah, I am a Diablo fan. I just can't see myself playing. Like, I'd rather play like Resurrected or two,
Just
or
for
three.
noting, Diablo 2 Resurrected is in that state of play discount list.
Yes, yes, I know. Thank you
Finest,
for
you're gonna buy
the
something. Finest,
reminder.
I know you're gonna buy something, and you better put it in the Discord as soon as you do.
That was one of the ones I listed. I already own. So thanks, guys.
Have you already got it?
I already got it.
Oh, no way. Sorry, I missed that.
Yeah,
Apologies.
it's okay. It's okay.
But yeah, keep an eye on that, see what happens. When it comes to PC, it might be better, but we'll see.
All right. Before we close, looks like we had no comments in our chat today, so we will go ahead, skip that, and then put this episode in the books.
Can I drop a news flash very
Newsflash,
quickly that I
go.
saw this morning? Exclusive game, not exclusive, but you might be interested. It's a very heavy Star Wars month at the moment,
Mhm.
with
Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan Kenobi coming out last night. Yeah, but there was a trailer released today, or no, it would be today. Sorry, I'm just thinking about the time zones between the two of us, but three of us. Star Wars Jedi Survivor is the follow-up to Fallen Order, and there's a trailer available right now. Looks like it follows on from the storyline from Fallen Order as well. We've been anticipating one of these games to come out as a follow-up very shortly, but it looks like it's coming in, I think it said 2023. So next year, we're going to have a new Jedi Star Wars Jedi game. Sorry, it's a really
Okay.
unusual assembly of the series, but I guess they
Wait,
have to be different.
was the Fallen Order, was that the one? Was that the most recent Star Wars game where you're the redhead kid?
Yep, Cal Katarn,
Okay.
I think,
Yeah, I think it was that
and
one.
yeah, he's kind of reviving the Order by hunting around. It was a bit Dark Soulsy, a little bit roguelike, had a bunch of different elements to it. Compelling story though, and that is
Nice.
also on the state of play cheap list.
Heard, heard good things about that game. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll enjoy it if anyone gives it a go. Definitely give it a try. But you've got until 2023 before if you want to play this next one. So
All
go
right.
for it.
All right, sounds good. Thank you for that, Matt. And want to cut it for Matt, the educator, a man of many names, Finest, OVG, RV Gaming. I'm Justin Reed, Too Tall for You Fool, saying so long. Tune in next week for another great show of the Game and Watch podcast. Until then, take it easy and stay gaming. Later.